Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yes, and welcome to another Tuesday evening, episode 27 of the Gaming Fuse. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Nuke Nukem in the room. Hope you're all having a fantastic day so far, and let's get right into it. Without any further hesitation, bringing back in both my panel members who are here this week. Excuse me, a little something in the throat here. Starting off with the charismatic indie veteran herself, it's Coolcat Terri.
All right, hello, everybody. Hope you're all having a fantastic week so far, and yeah, should be some good fun.
Should be. Got some good topics too. And welcome back to the stage after a bit of a sick week. Still a little bit under the weather, but we're glad to have him here. And that is Mr. Mental 9R.
What is up, everyone? Apologies, no camera yet, but I'm just trying to scarf down some food here as we get going. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. Still a little under the weather, but I'll try not to cough in your ears. And if hopefully the show goes well, but happy to be back.
Glad to
Looking
have you
forward to it.
back, indeed. Like I said, we got some good topics, and we got our usual suspects hanging out in the chat. And we'll just pretend that Kratos is talking to us for the episode. There you
Boy.
go. Boy. All right. And Terry be like, girl. All right, let's say hello to our amazing chat because without them, honestly, this would not be possible or worthwhile doing. And a shout out to the always amazing Sean Labrie, who is the designer of the intro of the show and other stuff for me as well. But anyway, let's get right into it. We've got first on the docket, came in real early today. He couldn't wait for the show. That is Perry. He was here last week. Yes, you know him as the Game Complainers. He was stopped by, and I'm sure he's still here. We also got Timothy Dixon is in the building tonight. Wouldn't be a show without Timothy hanging out. We got the King is ready to rumble. Dreadpool is in the house. I see the one and only Doggy Dog 420 is here. Our good friend back from the dead's hanging out with us. Jesse Derby is in the house. We got Talos right here as well. Good to see Talos. Crazy Greek dude. Yes, the Rocket King, a veteran himself. And we are getting caught up here. We got Joe Dunmore. He's hanging out in the building. Good to see Joe. It's been a while. My good Canadian brother, Two-Pad Stack, hanging out with us tonight as well. Dre Venero's in the building. Brando Calorizia. Yeah, man, we've got the who's who of the amazing podcast chat. Thanks so much for supporting. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Share this stuff out, and let's get more people in here. Doggy Dog 420 comes in, as always, usually with the first super chat of the evening. Go ahead, Mental, if you're not too ill to read it out.
Oh, dear Lord, where is it? There we go. Wrong window. Gaming Fuse time. Let's effing go. Woo!
There you have it. Let's go indeed. All right, just before we kind of get into all the topics and nitty gritty, Terry, what have you been playing? What's been keeping you busy?
Let's see here. Almost done with Bramble. So I've been messing with that a bit today, and then we've also been playing some Remnant 2, as well as I completed Avatar,
Nice.
Frontiers of Pandora, which is fantastic. Loved it.
That's a surprising game to hear from Terry, saying that she loves Avatar. That seems like a kind of game, but just by looking at it, you'd think that Terry would be just like, yeah, this game is trash.
No, it was a lot of fun to play. It is just one of those. I don't know. It's weird because I wasn't too big on the movies, but I figured
Right.
I'd get. But the game looks so pretty.
Very pretty.
But no, I had a lot of fun playing with my friend, so it was a good time. The story was pretty enthralling, and it had some emotional moments and stuff. It was well done.
Mm-hmm. And Bramble is very charming, but also very almost eerie. They do some stuff in that game extremely well. The whole
Definitely.
swamp witch scene was trippy as heck.
Yeah. So I think I'm almost done. I just got past the library part, so I think I'm getting pretty close to the end.
I think you are indeed. Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the best indie games I've played in a very long time, actually. Milfman is in the house. Good to see Milfman here. No matter how often I say it, it always makes me laugh. Good to have you here, the Milfman. All right. The Milfman. The Milfman.
This rings twice.
All right. Awesome chat here. How about yourself, Mental? What have you been able to play? Obviously, being sick always. Sometimes being sick's a blessing in disguise because you actually get more to play more games as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, it actually, I probably did do more gaming than I would have otherwise, but still working on God of War. I think I'm getting near the end of that now. But while I was laid up, I spent a fair bit of time on my Steam Deck. I played through Detroit Become Human. It's funny because I had the game
Great
on
game, though.
PS4 and I just never finished it. But played through that and actually really enjoyed it. There's actually some replay value there too that I might get to
Mm.
eventually.
I think that's
And
Quantic Dream's best game so far.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm not usually big on the quick time event, sort of, oh, push the stick this way, now that way, that type
Hmm.
of stuff. But it worked all right in that game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, other than that, I'm playing Bendy and the
Hmm.
Ink Machine, I think it's called. That one's it's pretty good too. Little title there, but I think I'm on the last chapter on that. It's a little creepy. It's a fun game. I've quite enjoyed it, and it plays really well on the Steam Deck as well. So yeah, that's what I've been up to the last couple of weeks.
Fabulous. Nice, man. Sounds like you've been keeping relatively busy. Like I said, sorry to hear that you're sick, but hopefully you'll get over this sooner than later here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear the sniffles. Yeah, I had those myself. I had a cough, but I didn't have. Well, last time I was sick was a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't have. I didn't have COVID or anything. It was more of a congestion, kind of a cold. But yeah, there's
Right.
lots of people have been sick the last couple of months. That's for sure. Man, I've been all over the board with games lately because I'm still trying to finish off Resident Evil 4 in VR. I've been playing Spider-Man 2. I've been playing a lot of RoboCop, which actually fairly lengthy campaign because I've been playing it for a while. I don't feel like I'm not anywhere close to finish. Loving RoboCop, deadly game by the way. Um, God, what else have I been playing? Like a little bit of everything. I've been on the Switch playing Sonic Superstars. Been playing some Red Dead Redemption, a few things like that. So yeah, I'm just kind of bouncing through all three consoles right now, like picking up backlogs and new games in between. So great stuff, man. Like I said, when you got all the consoles, there is never a shortage of games to play. Heck, even if you just got one,
Oh,
there's never really a shortage of games to
so
play.
true.
Indeed. Yeah, Dark Lord Alu, what's going on? We see Casket Repair in the building. Sir X Man is in the house as well. Good to see you guys here tonight. Draven is here. The King's with us. Milfman, Brando Carizia, Doggy Dog. The list goes on. You guys are fantastic. Doggy Dog says Bendy is a cool game. Indeed. Good to see Dreadpool hanging out with us as well. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, or anything in the chat, let us know. If the audio or anything seems off, also let me know in advance. And don't forget to get your questions ready for the end of the show, as we'll probably be bringing in a couple of the alter egos later on in the show. Hopefully, Handy Andy might make an appearance because he was not here last week. We did have quite the session from Arnold, Cletus, and Safe Out Sam. That if you missed it last week, it's go back and rewind the last 10 or 15 minutes of the show because those boys were on fire last week indeed. So, all right. And Happy New Year to you too, Mr. Darth Vicious. Good to see you in the building. All right, let's get down to the brass tacks and talk about something that obviously a lot of people have been talking about for the last couple of days. And I don't really want to beat this topic to death because a lot of it really isn't even a legitimate topic. A lot of it's more about rumors and speculation. And boy, it just does not seem to take hardly anything to get the Xbox rumor mills flying. And of course, that regards, there's been some speculation and some things going around that games like Hi-Fi Rush may be coming to the Switch, potentially the PlayStation, possibly games like Sea of Thieves as well. And it always opens up the question mark: what games could potentially end up on competing platforms? And I guess the other side of that question is, why own an Xbox? What makes Xbox special? If you're going to start handing over your first party games, you're going to start handing over games that you use as an identity. Like Nintendo has Sonic and all of their amazing games, and without them, Nintendo would just be a has been. But they stay afloat based on their first party exclusives alone, right? Most of them aren't even available on PC. PlayStation, again, they've got some of their games coming to PC, but we're talking about just console exclusives in particular. Now, we certainly know that Xbox has been putting pretty much everything on console and PC and almost everywhere, but it's an interesting question, right? And that's where we're going to come down. We're going to see how the panel feels about it, how the chat feels about it. Is it really worth getting worked up over, that sort of thing? Because people are taking it and really running with it. So let's just fire it up. And well, you know what? We're going to give Coolcat Terri the first crack at this one. I have a good feeling. I think I know what she might say. Let's see if she proves me wrong. Um, but Coolcat Terry, have you been following what's kind of been transpiring through the social media networks again and through some of the media sites? They're kind of basically uh, reiterating what I just said, that Xbox may potentially license out or whatever, hand over some of these exclusives. And to some degree, maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. But what do you think?
Okay, yeah, I mean, we talked about it on Sunday after Good Morning Xbox, and my take is that I don't have an issue with it. You know, it just depends on what the games are. Obviously, if it's one of the big blockbuster titles that are supposed to be exclusive, that's going to help push console sales, then I can understand keeping those exclusive. But games that aren't really selling that much anymore, I mean, I see no reason why they shouldn't get new life and kind of bring in a new fan base and and give the devs a chance to continue to make some money on them. So
Mm-hmm.
that way they can maybe if they show that there's still a lot more people out there that are interested in it, and that might give them the incentive to continue on and make another one. So I mean, I'm all for it. It's we should all be able to just play games regardless where we want to play them, and I mean, exclusivity. I mean, it has its purpose when it comes to like some people like the idea of buying a console for the exclusives, but come on, most people when they are playing their preferred platform, they're not playing the exclusives anyway. So it's one of those things. It's just, I mean, I've never once bought a console for an exclusive. I look
Right.
at those as a bonus to whatever. But I know some people get really in the feels about
Right.
about their exclusivity. For me, I just see it as a way that it prevents the game being introduced to other people that might not be able to invest in more than one gaming platform, as well as it creates gatekeeping. So I'm not for that.
Do you think again? We heard Phil say in the past, right? Like that they want to keep a lot of games obviously native to the Xbox
Hmm.
experience platforms, whether it's Xbox or PC. But again, he did say on numerous occasions, sort of like it was on a case by case scenario.
Yeah.
Some games totally make sense to keep them in the exclusive environment. Some games may not. And in the case of a game like Hi-Fi Rush, or more specifically a game like Sea of Thieves, right? Which Sea of Thieves isn't the most taxing game, perhaps for any of the hardware spec, and it's also a couple of years older now. It's been out in the wild for a while, and perhaps it's starting to dwindle a little bit. But it would make perfect sense for a game like Sea of Thieves to find new life on a platform like Nintendo. If they can make it run on Nintendo, I'm pretty sure the water may not look near as cool. I don't know, but but it does seem like a game that almost has an artistic style, or a game that seems fitting for that platform. And
Hmm.
again, Sea of Thieves is thriving largely because it is a games as a service, right? I mean, it's been out for
Yep.
years. They haven't even made a single game since Sea of Thieves. Think about that. It's just been Sea of Thieves and content thereafter. So, or even to bring it over somehow, I mean, it's like I said, it could go to Nintendo, PlayStation, maybe not. I don't know, but like again, I could totally see how some of those games make perfect sense, and I don't think anybody would sit here and totally cry over the fact that those games did. Now, a game like Halo, I think that would be giving up a little too much,
Yeah.
because Halo is what you associate with Xbox and always
Yeah.
has been right from day one. That sort of thing. So I think if you're going to give up Halo, you got to get something back in return. Most importantly, but it's some fans are just taking this way too far. They're getting worked up because I think they're all starting to think that everything is going or anything's on the table. What do you think, Mental? And your mic is off.
Sorry, I
There
had
you
it muted because
go.
I was coughing. Um, First of all, I guess for me, it doesn't matter too much given that, I'm a PC guy primarily anyway, so I don't
Hmm.
have too much stock in the whole console war aspect of it. But from a business perspective, definitely the right move. Right, you breathe, like you guys mentioned, you breathe life into older games potentially again. For any gas games, it completely makes sense
Hmm.
to have them. The more players you have, the better it is for everyone involved on the home console as well. You got more people to play with, right? That's always a better thing. The main reason for exclusives is to bolster console sales. You don't make money on selling hardware. You make money on selling the games and the software. So, for all those reasons, from a business perspective, it makes perfect sense. As far as going full third party, I don't really see that happening.
No.
I just don't think it makes sense right now given the timing. People that are thinking that that's what's going to happen right away, I think they're a bit nuts because they're just now starting to see a bit of a return on their investment with Bethesda, like ZeniMax, right? Finally getting some exclusives rolling out. They just bought ABK. It's going to be a few years before the real returns start to happen there too.
Mhm.
Timing, it just doesn't make sense. You got to let it run for a bit, put some exclusives out, and see if you can capture some of that console market away from Sony. When you're in last place, you really only have one way to go, and that's up. It's easy to move up. It's hard to keep the first place position. A lot easier to gain ground when you have way more ground available. So I think from just an overall strategy perspective, it wouldn't make sense to go full third party right at
Right.
the moment. But for all the big multiplayer type, online only games, probably makes a fair bit of sense to go ahead and move that type of game
Mhm.
everywhere. And even some of the smaller ones, like there, a lot of talk around the Hi-Fi Rush and stuff. That's probably a good game to throw onto Switch. Do you put them all on Sony's platform? That one, that's where the competitive side of me comes in, and I'd say if it was me, I wouldn't do that. I don't, I think most people would agree. Nintendo's not really a competitor to either Sony or to Microsoft in the sense that they kind of do their own thing anyway,
Mhm.
and it's kind of in their own world in that regard. And I mean, frankly, they outsell both these platforms anyway, and that's just the reality of it. They're the real leaders here. So I would say, it makes sense to me on a lot of the stuff. And some of it I just wouldn't do. Like I wouldn't be giving away my single player AAA
Mhm.
titles that you're trying to build an environment with, right?
Right.
And trying to, coax players into your ecosystem. Don't mess with that. But games like Sea of Thieves makes perfect sense to me.
Totally. In the last couple of years too, I think the Game Pass equation has really changed sort of the landscape. Like I said, it has its pros and it has its cons. Sometimes people can say that and some people might iterate that a thing like Game Pass cannibalizes sales for certain games because you have to wonder how many copies a game like Hi-Fi Rush could have sold digitally or physically if it had to come out in that sort of format and not sort of been surprise dropped on people through Game Pass. But it could go the opposite way too, where you could say that if a game like that had just came out digitally or physically and was not available through a service like Game Pass, then you have to go, maybe nobody played it. Maybe it only got half the amount of eyes on. Like it kind of goes both ways. But I totally with both of you that I think ultimately it really comes down to what the game is. Um, like I feel like we're going to see a bit of Indiana Jones, for example, here, right? They have a thing coming up on the 18th. We'll talk about that in a bit. There's a Microsoft director, is it? What do you call it? Developer direct or whatever.
Hmm.
Looks like Hellblade 2, Indiana Jones, and a couple other games are going to get highlighted on this developer direct. So that hopefully answers a few questions we might have after that point. But
Well,
like a game like Indiana Jones, which is almost like the Spider-Man scenario. Indiana Jones is sort of a property that is universal. He's pretty well recognized throughout the world. It is being made and published by Bethesda, made by Machine Games. Machine Games, if you're not aware, are the people behind Doom, which is interesting because they're making a third-person action adventure game with Indiana Jones. But it's been asked many times, what is that going to go multiplat? Will they put it on anything besides the Xbox and PC platforms? And that's a great question. uh, Personally, I think because of the kind of game that it is, because it's a recognizable property, that they should keep it as wholeheartedly exclusive, which will help drive Game Pass numbers. But again, if a lot of these games, I wonder if it's it's a wait and see approach to how well it resonates and how many players gravitate or how much their numbers go up because it's pretty much a fact. Like I think that if a game like Indiana Jones doesn't really resonate and doesn't create sort of a mass buzz around Game Pass and subscriptions, then it could obviously make up a lot of its development revenue by placing a game like that, and that would be a game that would benefit Sony more than Nintendo, because I don't think you're going to get a very good version of that to run on a Switch, since it's basically being made for next gen consoles. So, would you put a game like that potentially over on PlayStation, or at least, again, is it going to end up on PC? But that PC, well, it's going to come to PC day one, so that part of the equation doesn't count. Well, what do you think? Like, should a game as big as that property be multiplat?
Well, I think they already announced it's going to be exclusive, did they not? That, if I recall correctly, was the big sort of leak that
I'm
came
trying to
out.
remember. If anyone in that chat can remember, did they actually say that Indiana Jones was going to be Xbox PC / exclusive? I don't
Yeah,
recall, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure they did, but that's kind of another reason I'm like I say, I'm not 100% positive, but given that type of a play where they went back, I think the rumor was, or the information was, they went back to Disney and renegotiated exclusivity for it, and they wouldn't just do that and then go, oh yeah, we're going third party with everything, right? It
Hmm.
doesn't make any sense. That's why I think they got to give it a run, give these acquisitions a chance to build them a bigger console base. And I think they will. You deliver great games consistently, something they haven't done since the 360 era. You get in that routine where you're dropping 3 or 4 big titles every year. People are going to buy your hardware. That's the reality of it. I mean, loyalty only goes so far. If you're watching all your buddies on a
Hmm.
different platform playing great games all the time, and they're getting good meta reviews and whatnot, you can only hold out for so long
Yeah.
before you go out and figure out a way to play them, whether that's through the cloud and you buy Game Pass Ultimate, or you sign up with Nvidia, in which case you're still paying to Microsoft anyhow. They're making money off you. So no matter which path you take, you're getting into the ecosystem, and that's what Microsoft wants, right? They
Mm,
want to
right.
build their ecosystem, and if you give all your games away for free, it doesn't make much sense, right? You're giving your competition the opportunity to make 30% off everything. I don't think they want to do
Absolutely.
that if they don't have to.
A lot of times when the conversation comes up, Minecraft is brought in there. But here's the thing with Minecraft. Minecraft was a huge PC title before it even came to consoles. And when it did
Yeah.
come to consoles, it made sense because that Minecraft is not really associated with the hardcore gamers. It's obviously one of those titles that gravitated largely with the more casual crowd and the younger crowd. And it totally made sense. Microsoft could have, that's the funny thing that people don't give Microsoft enough credit. They could have been a bully with that title. They could have bought that
Yep.
game and made it exclusive to Xbox, and then forced
Yep.
all these kids that are out there today, they basically go buy an Xbox to play it, right? Simple as that.
Yep.
But it found life, and it's doing very, very well on all three platforms. It has a very vast user base, and kudos to them because it's a win-win scenario. Gamers win, and Microsoft wins because they're making absolute retarded money by putting Minecraft on all of the platforms, right? So that makes it. And don't think for a second that, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Guitar Hero comes back. Now that they have Activision,
Hmm.
they're sitting on a gold mine. They're going to make a fortune of money on that, and I think it would be foolish for them not to put a game like Guitar Hero on multiple platforms.
Yeah. Especially since
Yeah.
Xbox
And
loves
make it.
making controllers, this is an opportunity to make more controllers. The guitar kind.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And
yeah, absolutely right. And in return too, they could even work out perhaps a deal in return by putting it on a Sony platform, um, that they could get some music royalties or licenses over there, right? Because
yeah,
Sony has a pretty good entrenchment into the music user base, so maybe
hmm
they make a deal like that too, where like, hey, you're going to give us some songs, we'll give you the game in return, that sort of thing.
yeah,
Who
and
knows?
leverage back combat Pat to make all the
Hmm.
old games work with the new hardware. That would be great because I still have all my Guitar Hero games, but I can't play them. I've got my 360, but my guitars are broken, right? I've been
Right?
thinking about. I've got 2 of them. I was planning to take them both apart and hopefully get one working one out of the parts from the two. I don't know. Just haven't had time to do it, but it's the buttons on the frets, I guess you'd call them, that are screwed up.
Indeed.
But
No, you're
I've got
absolutely
enough that
right. I
work.
mean, they love making controllers, and I think it's long overdue for a good Guitar Hero controller, and maybe something that's a little bit more
Quality.
realistic per se, that a little more common age that doesn't look exactly like a toy.
Mhm.
That's right. Let's get to a couple of super chats though before we continue on with this conversation. Sir X Men is in the chat, and he comes in hot and heavy earlier on with $2.
Hit that like and share, everyone. Let's go. I did. And so
Indeed,
did
he
I.
he did indeed. And Sir X Men comes back in with another two.
Minecraft is the biggest selling IP in history, and you're not wrong. It's massive, absolutely massive. I think at one time they had something like 90 million reoccurring monthly players, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, man, Minecraft is used, and Microsoft knows what it's doing. And you know what? The other side of the coin is let's not get too greedy because by licensing out some of these games, that we make more money, right? A game like Hi-Fi Rush, which potentially may not see a sequel, could potentially now see a sequel or find more demand for one. And that could have worked both ways. That could have worked for Nintendo games. That could have worked for Sony's own games. I mean, imagine a game, like the Order 1886. Perhaps if at some point, okay, the game fizzled a little bit on PlayStation, but perhaps they put it on another platform and it found new life, whether it's over on the PC side or where have you. But this is what I'm saying: like more games that get played by more people make more money, and sometimes just because it's not a success, it's like the movie industry. Some movies come out and absolutely bomb at the box office, but then they come
Yeah,
out on DVD, Blu-ray, and they find like second life. They take off, and people watch them, and people love them. So it's a
yeah,
very similar scenario with games sometimes. That just because it's supposed to do well on a console or a platform doesn't mean that it will. And sometimes it's even just a re-release or a refresh. And again, that's part of the reason behind remakes too, and these remakes and these remasters, because sometimes they're moderately successful, but then they find like an extra million or 2 million in sales because they come out in front of a new audience with new upgraded controls and graphics. So, it's something sometimes I know to be objective about, but not necessarily get fully upset and mad because, if Microsoft is making more money at the end of the day and they can justify um, keeping these IPs going and stuff, maybe it leads to sequels and maybe it leads to more games and more risks and investment too.
yeah, absolutely. And that would actually, I don't know that Sony would ever do it, but the Order 1886, that
Hmm.
game, I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know why it was
I did
rated
too.
so low. Uh, I could see it doing well on another platform, be it Xbox or a PC platform, or
It's
even the
funny
Switch
because
would probably play it
The
all right.
Order and Rise Son of Rome to me are like each company's
Hmm.
version of a game that was drastically underrated and underappreciated. But even today, we
Yeah,
talk about the same thing. The same thing. The games are a little bit short. They had a little bit of that quick timey feel, but both of them had insane stories, amazing graphics that still hold up today. So we're thinking about a one for one from both companies. That's who I'd put up against each other.
yeah, similar scores, and
Mm-hmm.
you're right, similar length in playtime, and they both look great. They really do.
And I totally agree with Sir X-Men. Doesn't Hi-Fi Rush feel like the type of game that should be on a Nintendo platform? It
Absolutely.
does. It fits right in with like a lot of the games that you see on Switch with the hand drawn, cell shaded style graphic artwork, and in a game that you feel from a technical standpoint could run relatively well on Switch, hopefully.
And with the motion controls for the Joy Cons, they can
Mm,
really switch it up for how the rhythm stuff works.
mm,
Instead of doing like a button press, imagining having to shake the Joy-Con and do different things, like you're actually doing stuff. They
Samba de
could
amigo.
they could really make that really cool.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and you know what? It's kind of funny because in decades past, right? I bet you all three of us here, we grew up during the golden era of games with 16-bit consoles, and as all three of us sit here, I'm pretty sure we would have thought seeing Sonic on a Nintendo platform was never going to happen. I still remember the first time I saw it, and even still to this day, when I see Sonic and I see the Sega brand on Nintendo, I'm kind of going, fuck, that is
It's
still
not
weird.
right.
That is still really weird. But you know what? it saved Sega. I mean, without sort of Sega's resurgence and taking risks, and yeah, they gave up the hardware side, but that's the funny thing, is they're still there and they're still doing very well. And Sonic is still alive and kicking. Yeah, Sonic's gone through a lot more ups and downs than Mario. They've had some decent games and some fucking terrible games and everything in between. But a couple of good movies and a couple of the recent Sonic games have been really, really good. Sonic Frontiers was different and good. I think the new Sonic Superstars is awesome. But it's just the point. Like they didn't give up, they didn't quit. They just had to revise their company, and because of it, now they're one of the bigger third-party publishers out there. And now one of the biggest things we saw at the Game Awards that most people got excited about was seeing the resurgence of Sega with some of their old IPs coming back new. So I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't think that Xbox wants to go that route, and I hope that Xbox stays into the hardware market, right? But I mean, I bet you everybody in the chat, if Sega made a Dreamcast 2 tomorrow, who would buy it? I would totally buy it. Day one. Anybody would buy a Dreamcast 2?
I never had the original, but I heard it was, by then I was like fully embedded in the PC world and didn't care about consoles, so the Genesis was my last one. But I think it would be fantastic if they did it right. Like this is the other thing that all these guys say, oh, Sony, Xbox going third party. That would be terrible for the game industry as a whole. Like especially the console industry, leaving Sony to their own devices with no competition on that front in a hardware like world. Imagine what a PlayStation would cost. They'd be $1,000 overnight, right? That's just the way they would do it because they wouldn't have to sell it for less. It's the only option at that point. It'd be terrible. So yeah, I'd love to see. I mean, if a Dreamcast 2 came out, I'd probably buy it just because. Right? Support the industry in that regard and support competition.
Do you know what other game that's been out on Xbox that I think they should put out perhaps for Nintendo is Recore?
Yeah,
I think Recore, because Recore kind of didn't get enough attention, and if you put something like that on a Nintendo platform, especially with their larger user base, way over in the Asia markets, then I think a game like Recore could find a second chance at life.
Yeah, Recore was a really good game. They got crucified though with reviews and stuff because it was a little rough going at first. So
the Xbox One tax.
Yeah,
that one was real. It didn't matter what you did with Xbox One. Everybody hated it. I mean, it just they completely screwed the pooch on that one with the E3 performance they put in. But yeah, Xbox One struggled in any game. I think that's got a lot to do with why Rise was rated as low as it was, because the game's just not that bad. But hey, is what it is, so they say.
Like I said, this is a figurative topic because nothing has happened. We don't know for sure what is or isn't, but I think at the end of the day, we can all agree, and the majority of us in the chat agree that we don't want all of the Xbox stuff to go to other platforms, because I think at the end of the day, too, Xbox still needs to have its identity. Xbox still needs to have games that are largely associated with the platform. And I think we've always maintained that, it's Halo and it's the Gears of War franchise, and Forza 3 of the forerunners. From that, Bethesda, I think, is going to be very careful about what games that they put out to other platforms. The big question now, on everybody's mind is, and everybody's been asking about the Blade thing, right? But I'm pretty sure the Blade's going to be exclusive. But what about the biggest one? And I'm talking about the Elder Scrolls 6, right? That is probably the biggest game in the holster to come down the pipe in the next couple of years, that I'm pretty sure everybody that owns a competing console to Xbox is basically waiting for that answer. Is it going to come to ours? And honestly, I think that's the game that Xbox holds to their chest, because even if they keep it as a timed exclusive, that's a game they need to help sell Game Pass, and I guarantee you that one will.
Yeah.
If Starfield didn't move the needle, I'm going to damn well guarantee that this one does. because it's Elder Scrolls and it has a massive following, including the online series. But see, there you go. The online games are on multiple consoles, but they started on multiple consoles before the acquisition. So, to kind of give somebody something and then steal it away from them is a bit of a dickish move to do. You don't want to be seen as that person. Well, you had this game all along, but now because we own the company, screw you guys, right? And plus, they'd be leaving a lot of money on the table. So we got to pay for those Game Pass editions somehow, right? So let throw them a bone once in a while. But personally, keep the Elder Scrolls 6 as an exclusive. And if people really want it, there's one way to get it: either go buy yourself a good PC or get an Xbox. That's it.
Well, this is it. Like, or there's the cloud options, right? There's so many different ways to play Microsoft's game. I don't feel bad for people that are gonna complain. Oh, it used to be on PlayStation or whatever. I agree. It'd be a dick move to take something like the Elder Scrolls Online and suddenly quit supporting it and let it go stagnant and die on other platforms. That doesn't make any sense from a business perspective or just from a public relations perspective. It'd be a bad move. But for new releases, it goes back to what I said before. Like, you keep those big AAA single player games to yourself and you give them a chance to build your platform and your ecosystem for you. And, I think they need to give it at least 5 years, because, I mean, it takes 5 years to build a AAA title these days. So you got to give it some time. Conversion doesn't happen overnight. And I don't buy into the whole idea that, people won't convert because, they have their digital game library. Keep your old console. It's not that tough, right? To switch. It's just not that hard. I did it. I went from PS4 back to Xbox. I've still got a PS4. I ended up getting a PS5. I had no intention to it, at the beginning of the generation, but I figured I've still got my PS4. I've got 150 some odd games on it. I can play them whenever I want because I still have the platform. I just don't sell it. It's not that tough, I don't think. Too much stock being put into the idea that people won't switch. The main reason they might not is because of their friends.
Yeah.
But the reality is you tend to have friends online that like similar games as you do. So if all your buddies like single player RPG type games, well, where are they going to go? They're probably going to go to Xbox as well.
Most online games have crossplay anyway. So
well, they do, right?
So if they wanted to switch over to Xbox for Elder Scrolls, which they would be playing by themselves anyway, they could still, if they could still play Call of Duty and Apex and all that stuff with crossplay.
That's a really good point. It's not nearly as difficult, I think, as Xbox and others play it up to be. Like Microsoft, it was in their best interest to go on about how the PlayStation 4, that was the worst generation for us to lose because of the digital games library, blah blah blah. They had to play stuff like that up. I just can't believe they believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. To me, I look at these three companies in general: Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. Much like I kind of look at the fast food market, right? There's one leader, and everybody else follows. And one leader is going to get a large chunk of the money, and the rest are going to still make really well money. But again, you can only have one number one, right? And then you have to be comfortable where you are in the market. Can you gain ground? Can you lose ground? Absolutely, right? Just because you're number one doesn't mean you can't end up being number two. But it's safe to say when it comes to like fast food, right? McDonald's has pretty much been the number one franchise through history. Now, there's a couple of reasons McDonald's done that. One, through marketing. Two, because it used to always be one of the cheapest places and fastest places to eat. They've gotten themselves in so many places around the world that they're universal property, and that's the thing, right? And that in itself, see, if you look at it, that's kind of Sony, right? Sony, they've been around a long time now. They're in so many different countries. They're more popular overall because they're in more places overall, right? They've got the reputation, that sort of thing. And then I think, Xbox and Nintendo kind of like, they're kind of like the Burger King and whoever else you want. But, we all go to McDonald's. For those of us who do go to McDonald's, I mean, I go to McDonald's simply because I love some of the menu items that they have that nobody else, some others have imitators, but they still never taste the same. Like I love the Big Mac, always have, probably always will. I mean, some people detest it, but I love the Big Mac, and I love their fries, and that's the reason I go to McDonald's. As far as being cheap now, McDonald's is freaking expensive these days. I don't know what the hell is
It
going
is.
on, but for these little tiny burgers, they're not much bigger than than a friggin' that hole I got going on here.
Yeah.
You know, there's prison inmates that got bigger holes in a McDonald's sandwich. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like everybody has an identity, and people go to one or the other for those different things, right? Nobody's wrong, nobody's right, but that's kind of what we do. So, um, yeah.
Yeah.
But like for you guys, let's just say let's move along from this generation X. You go to buy the next Xbox. Why would you buy it or not buy it? What is the Xbox identity? Why do you reach out and spend your money on it?
Well, for me, it's the reason I bought a Series X, even though I, like I say, many, many times, PC guy primarily,
Mm-hmm.
was because of its integration across both platforms. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that I could play a game on my PC and then go sit on my couch and have a really good console to continue where I left off if I didn't feel like sitting at my desk again to keep playing. That's why I originally bought the Xbox. They don't have to change that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see that as their one of their biggest strengths is that cross platform and cross save and you know the play anywhere that they support. And you buy one copy of the game, you get it on PC and on Xbox. uh, that's tough to beat. And that's, Sony, I would be much more inclined to buy their next console if they
Mm-hmm.
did something similar, right? But there's the whole platform is still feels so archaic in the way that it works, that there is so much difficulty. Like I can't play a game on my PS4, switch to my PS5, and expect to pick up where I left off. It doesn't just work. And that to me, that drove me nuts when I was a PlayStation 4 guy. I hadn't, been used to the Xbox 360 where I could move to a different machine, and as long as I signed in, I could get my cloud save and just keep playing. It was all automatic. They got a lot of work to do on that front still,
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Yeah,
But
indeed.
that's a factor for me. Exclusive games, that plays into it a bit too, right? But again, because pretty much everything comes to PC anyway, it's not as big a concern for me. Like I certainly didn't buy a PlayStation for their exclusives, and you just heard why I bought the Xbox.
Yeah. We got
What do you think, Terry?
another one coming in from Sir X Man. He got a super chat for another $2.
Ooh, Hi-Fi Rush $30 to $40, perfect price for Nintendo.
Indeed, can't
Yeah,
disagree with that.
I
Uh,
can't say you're wrong.
so like for you, Terry, you go to buy the next Xbox. Some people buy it just out of brand loyalty, right? It's an Xbox
Mhm.
thing. I bought every Xbox. I'm going to buy the next one, no matter if it's dog shit or not. But why would you plunk down your money? What resonates? What's the identity for you with Xbox?
For me, it is quality of the actual hardware. The biggest issue I had with, let's say, like PlayStation is I found that the controllers were always just not working. I could go buy a brand new controller, and then like a week or two later, it wouldn't even work unless I kept it plugged in 24/7. Like, what the heck's the point? I'm having a
Mm,
wireless controller if I have to keep it plugged in because it just would
Here,
not work.
here.
Like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
almost every controller was defective. So I got frustrated. And these controllers nowadays are like $50 plus. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I can't even be throwing
Oh,
money like that
geez.
away for a controller. Um,
PlayStation 5 controllers $100 in Canada, basically, by the time you
yeah.
pay tax.
So and then from so it's just and then with the consoles themselves, I've never had an Xbox break because of its own fault. I had one break, and that was the fault of a cat, not the fault of the system itself. So, whereas all my PlayStation stuff, excluding my PS1, have broke on their own. So it's like, why am I investing all this money in a company when they don't have a quality product? So that's the big reason why I stay loyal to Xbox, is I know if I buy the system, I'm gonna have a large library of games that appeal to me, and I'll have, at least I'll know that system will last the entire generation without having to be replaced, along the line. And the controller as well is a lot more comfortable for me as well. I do have issues with my hands. The PlayStation controller is too small. It cramps my hands up. I get a lot of pain in my hands when I play games on a PlayStation, and so I just can't do it. It's uncomfortable for me, and so yeah, it's just Xbox wins me over, but mostly because of the quality.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
And for me, much the same. Obviously, in the last couple of years, Xbox in particular has been killing it with deadly hardware, well designed, easy to use, and again, things like stuff that we take for granted nowadays. But having all your game saves and everything tied to one account without having to pay the extra subscription fee to get it. For those who didn't know or have forgotten, with Sony, if you're not a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you can't even go back in and get your old game saves. You've got to be subscribed in order to download those saves from the cloud, which is really weird. So basic game saves are tied behind a paywall, not even technically to your account. So those are the sort of the chintzy things. But for me, Xbox again, it's the ecosystem, and the larger we've been in that ecosystem, the harder it is to move away from it because your friends are there, your games are there. It's not just the exclusives, but I mean, I've always had, like I said, if it wasn't for Gears of War, I don't even know if I'd be an Xbox fan that I am today. Like, I love Gears of War. That franchise changed my life. It changed, say it time and time again. If it wasn't for Gears, I might not even play video games these days. I was just about done with gaming. And that game pulled me back in, and then the 360 hooked me like never before with its amazing online and some fantastic games. And it started with Gears, and it went on to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and so on and so forth. And I just kind of fell in love and got hooked all over again. But now it's my friends, it's the ecosystems, the party chat. It's all of those things that Microsoft brings under one umbrella. And again, it is having exclusives to the console. Because to me, I don't care about the PC. So every time we bring up the conversation, the PC is irrelevant to me because I don't and never have and probably never will play my games on PC. So the bottom line is, but if you're gonna put Gears on PlayStation, if you're gonna put Halo on PlayStation, you're gonna put Game Pass on PlayStation, then I have to ask what would be my reason to buy the Xbox. Because if I'm gonna get the best of one console, I'm gonna get it all in one place, then that's which is basically kind of what most PC people will say today. And that's one of their biggest arguments is that they can play almost everything underneath one hood. And fair enough. But there's a whole lot of other stipulations that come with PC as well. For years they've been paying for free online. We're getting leached because we got to pay our internet and our online. And again, they always have the performance advantage in most cases. There's a lot of great things to have about PC. Like Mental's big on the PC side, and all the more power to him and kudos to him, but it's just not the ecosystem that I gravitate to. But as long as Xbox keeps bringing great product, good services at a decent price, and again, the games that I love, and they come back in a big way, then like I said, I'm an Xbox guy. And Xbox is more than just Gears, Forza, and Halo. Xbox is a feeling. Xbox is a pride. Xbox is even just how to me, it's a brand, but it's a brand that speaks for the fans and for gamers because they give us almost everything, and they certainly have been listening a hell of a lot more than other companies. I mean, we've been preaching at Nintendo for how many years now about their online and about this, that, and something else, and Nintendo never does it. Nintendo doesn't even give games for cheap anymore. I've been saying this to all my friends. I said every generation of Nintendo, they used to have the Nintendo Selects games. So like a game like Breath of the Wild, you wouldn't have to wait for it to go on sale. It would be currently discounted to 30 maximum, right? Or 20 US. Why don't they do that anymore? I don't understand it, because they know that just they're to that point now where they could sell, like I said, they could sell shit to a dung beetle. So they're just to the point where they're ego and they're arrogant and they just don't even want to drop their games down at a sensible level. Like, come on, you gotta wait for a fucking sale to buy Breath of the Wild for 30% off. Come on, guys, give me a break.
Yeah.
But they'll still sell. Like, that game is still selling to this day. People that go out and buy their first Switch, guess which games they often buy? Mario Kart 8, Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers. They have games that are 5 years old that's still in the top 10 for top game sales, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo knows what to do. I mean, kudos to them. They're smart, and I guess we're stupid, but it's just wow. Like no other company gets away or can do the same shit that Nintendo does.
I take advantage of used copies. That's the
Right?
reality. It's hard for me to stomach
Well,
paying the
even that
kind of
you're
money
still
they
paying
ask
almost
for.
half price.
Yeah, you are.
Most
But at
cases.
least it feels a little better, and you get a little discount with the GameStop Platinum card and whatnot. But yeah, that's the road I go, and then I buy either $2 for their little insurance in case it breaks. I've got a year, or that I know the game's gonna work, and if something goes wrong with it, they replace it for me, and I'm good to go. But yeah, Nintendo, like I was saying before, they're doing their own thing, and the fans are willing to pay it. And I'm, cursing the day I bought my daughter her Switch because it's costed me a fortune to keep her in games. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. But
I mean, if you love Nintendo games, like if you love the indie circuit on Nintendo, it's great because they have so many, and there's always like crazy discounts on them. Like I don't know, like how many games you can go on now and pick up for less than $5. Some are great, some are fantastic deals, and other ones are just like, wow, I can see why that game was $3 because it's terrible.
yeah,
But like I picked up Garfield Kart Racing like just around Christmas for $3 Canadian. It's like, you know what? Yeah, for $50 the game wouldn't have been worth it, but for $3 it was a steal. It's a competent, nice little racer that looks good, plays good. Still not Mario Kart, but like I said, for $3 or $4, how can you go wrong with the value that's there? You know what I mean?
oh yeah, makes sense.
So
Like,
there's lots of that stuff on the Switch.
yeah, I think that's one of the things I'm enjoying with the Steam Deck is picking up, those smaller titles that play great on it, and they're cheap, right? Like the bendy games, I got 3 of them for $10. On the Steam sale here recently, and then I picked up a bunch more off CD Keys and a few other different sites. Like
cheddars.
that's the one thing I love about PC is the fact that there's store competition, and you can shop around and find better deals all the time. That's something where the sales are usually pretty decent, but you're kind of limited as to what you can buy and where you can buy it.
Yeah, sure enough. But anyway, guys, at the end of the day, like I said, I think Xbox isn't going anywhere. They're going to continue to make consoles. If anything, Xbox is only going to get better with the games that we got coming out and moving forward. The future's bright. If you're an Xbox owner, there's nothing really to worry about. Yeah, there might be a couple of games here and there. Like I said, it could end up on a Nintendo platform. Blah blah blah. Most likely Nintendo more so than PlayStation. That makes perfect sense for Xbox because they have a good relationship with Nintendo, and again because it's a portable platform, it gives them a little more leverage, and it gets them into more areas where Xbox has notoriously struggled, and it gets more eyes on their software. And is that necessarily a bad thing? I don't think so. We're all going to have disagreements on that, and some people think Xbox should give nobody anything. But Xbox, again, like I said, they've got a big service that they have to maintain, and that is Game Pass. If you guys want Game Pass and you want prices to stay low, but you still want to have the biggest, brightest, and best games on the planet coming into the service, it takes a lot of money to run that too. So you got to keep the money rolling in wherever you can see fit. They still got to pay big money for third-party licenses, et cetera, all that sort of stuff. So, it is what it is, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go out and sell my Xbox anytime soon, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's in this chat will do the same. So. Yeah. Any further thoughts on this whole scenario, or should we just move the needle?
I just want to add that I will never forget. Sorry, my dog has been uppity today, but I'll never forget when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out. I think the PS4 cost more, and what you got out of the box was crap in comparison. I'll never forget the headset. The headset is a drawing factor of why I can't do it anymore. Like I remember Xbox gave you an actual headset. Yes, it was a cheap headset, but it worked and it had decent sound quality. Your microphone worked. People can hear you clearly. What a PlayStation gave you? They gave you a single earbud with a microphone that didn't even work.
Oh man. Yeah,
I
second that.
You paid more for a wire, man. Like you know what? And I'll never forgive him for that. Never.
It was tragic.
I think I still got 2 of those kicking around somewhere here.
Yeah, I'll back you on the quality too, because I had one PlayStation 4 die, and I don't even know how many controllers. I was going through 2 controllers a year pretty much
Hmm.
to start with. I mean, I played it a lot, but because I was heavy into Destiny, so I was playing like crazy hours on my PS4. But at the same time, the no excuse for the failure rate on those controllers, and it was usually the thumbstick click for
Hmm.
sprint that was breaking, or my right trigger was breaking. And I think I went through 6 controllers in the first few years that I had one. And I did have an Xbox One as well. I didn't play it as much, but I used the same controller for the first 6 years,
Yeah.
and it would finally develop stick drift. And I thought, okay, well, I'll get a different controller. But yeah, anyway, I'll agree with you there. That earbud was a joke. Oh man, I remember. I think you got it backwards though. The PlayStation 4 was cheaper than the Xbox initially because you had to get the Connect with it, right? So it was $100 less, I think, for the PS4.
PS4,
But no excuse for that earbud. That thing, when I saw
Yeah.
that, I was just like, what the hell is this? Right? The Xbox 360 came with a way better headset
yeah.
for chat and stuff. But oh well.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
But something's better than nothing, I guess. But yeah, it was pretty chintzy, and I think I've only used my earbud maybe once or twice in the past, and that was probably while I was waiting to get a good headset. But yeah, we got X-Men coming back in with another super chat. He's about ready to have his paycheck deleted severely. $2.
Is Terry a sheriff now? I see a badge on her jacket.
There you go. It's a little grumpy star from the look
It's
of
a
it.
grumpy start. So like, you can't see it, but it's actually on the back of my hoodie. It's the don't Care Bear. So like they're like super
Oh, yeah.
like grungy, and they got like baseball bats and like all
Oh,
kinds of
that's
stuff.
awesome. The Don't
Yeah,
Care Bears.
the don't Care Bears. It's pretty cool.
Oh, they should make a video
That's
game with that.
funny.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that. What was that one that came out on 360? That one with the bear. What was it? Evil Bear or whatever it was? That was a pretty cool game. Just going around murdering everybody. What the hell game was that? I forget now, but yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? Let's say hello to the chat. We got some amazing people here, including longtime follower and friend Cray Simmons, Gaming TV. What's going on, Hollywood? We got DE in the building. Canadian brother Dion Landon is in the house. Good to hear the conversation. Lots of great conversation here, by the way. We got the Game Complainers, aka Perry, is hanging out with us. I'm pretty sure Perry's probably got a bag of those old earbuds kicking around summer because, being in a game store, he takes in all the trades. I'm sure they're probably still wrapped up in their original little plastic roll, never came out of the box.
No, went straight from the box to the
Yeah.
trash cans where that thing went.
You know what you do with those, Terry? Is put them on, one of those baby carousel spinners, and then dangle them on that for the cats. Guaranteed to go nuts over it.
No, they would have ripped them apart so easy.
Dogs would probably eat the damn things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're such junk.
absolutely. DE is in the building. Yeah, it's good to see you, DE. All you guys are fantastic. All right, so let's move the needle. Let's just get away from this topic. Like I said, it's going to be beat to death. It's going to be beat to death for a while. Again, it's another clickbaiting topic, stuff that starts out of rumors and speculation, and it ends up becoming like a media thing. And of course, you want to run with. But I think the one thing for Xbox fans that we do have to say that we're getting tired of is, why is it when our exclusives or supposed exclusives are announced or they're being worked on, is there a constant need for the community and the media to ask if they're going to go to their platforms, even though Phil and some of the publishers have already stated they're exclusive? But what is it? Until the game comes out and there's no alternate brand on the box, they don't believe it. I don't get what is going on there, but it's always happening. It's kind of like when PlayStation says it's exclusive, you kind of go, yeah, okay, it's going to be exclusive. We believe you. But when Xbox says it's always an issue. And I'll still, like I said, the biggest one that I'll never forget is when Xbox did the timed exclusivity on the Rise of the Tomb Raider, and people went friggin' berserk because it was exclusive for like what was a year. But then, of
Yeah.
course, everybody bitched, but nobody said anything when PlayStation was putting some of their stuff exclusive. And
Yeah.
like the whole Final Fantasy thing to me still flabbergasts me. That game was announced at an E3 on an Xbox show main stage coming to Xbox, and guess what? Sony pulled some shit and had it pulled, and it never did come out. Like at this point, nobody even gives a crap if Final Fantasy VII remake comes on Xbox as well. 4 years ago now or something. Like who cares? But it's the point of the matter, right? Sony plays dirty and nobody gives a shit, and Xbox just upfront and honest, and they take so much crap for it. So it's just one of those things. We got another super chat coming in from Perry from the Game Complainers. He gives a simple one word.
Woo!
We got a lot of woos in here tonight. That's right. I think Ric Flair is in the chat. Woo! All right. Yes, but anyway, we're all Xbox fans for a reason because we're all awesome and we got awesome friends in the ecosystem. It's fantastic. Like I said, man, and I said this when on my podcast on Sunday, like about community game nights. I've tried to do it with PlayStation, and it's fucking failed miserably. I just can't seem to get people to come over and play multiplayer shit on PlayStation. I don't know what it is. But at least on Xbox, we can get some bodies. And I will talk about the community game night before we wrap this show tonight for those of you who missed the podcast. All right, let's move right along. Milfman is still hanging out with us. Good to see you. Talos Ray as well. Let's talk about something else, a bit of a fun thing to talk about because it came out of nowhere. Kind of surprising and not surprising, and that was we're talking about the Xbox toaster. And we're talking about memorabilia and merchandise. And look, I can already see by looking behind Terry, she's got the Xbox lamps. She's got a few different Xbox things kicking around behind her, as do I. I've got various Xbox things like lights and lamps and clothes and you name it with Xbox stuff on it. So now we had the Xbox fridge, came out about almost 2 years ago now. I bought one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, the novelty is awesome. It looks cool and it looks really like a larger Xbox Series X. But I will say, as a effective fridge, it is not. As a cooler, maybe it keeps things modestly cool at best, but it's not ideal, and it doesn't even store a whole lot of drinks.
Yeah, like if you take a cold drink from your fridge and you want to keep it chilled, while you're gaming nice and close so you don't have to get up, it'll work fine for that. But, on a hot summer day, I mean, it's using a Peltier cooler, right? Like it's not high tech. It's not using a actual compressor with a refrigerant or anything. It's pretty basic. So they definitely charged big bucks for something that should have been really cheap.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I feel like if I paid half the price, I would have been more satisfied because for what I paid for mine, I was like, damn, this thing is fucking garbage. I said novelty effect looks cool. The fact you can plug it into your car, like say if you're going on a trip and you wanted to take a cooler with you to keep your drinks cool, it does effectively work. Yes, but honestly, I was thinking like to me, like if it ever gives out, I'm going to keep it and I'm going to use it as a game storage because I think if you take out the shells, you should be able to put some games in there, some discs.
Yeah.
That could be kind of cool.
Yeah, that might
but yeah,
be
well, I mean, what about the toaster? I've seen people do
there.
unboxings of the toaster. Ham Solo just got one, and he seems to like it. At first, I was thinking it only was a one slice, but no, you can do two, but they kind of go back to back. And I actually watched somebody use it, and it does seem to work pretty cool. So it seems like the toaster is a little more effective than the cooler.
Well, if it actually works well and it toasts bread properly and it does the Xbox emblem on it, if I'm not crazy, I think I saw that. I mean,
and it has a digital heat setting, so when you turn the knob, you can actually see how long your toast is going to be down for on what setting.
Okay.
And it lights up. It
might
looks
be
really
useful.
cool, actually.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought, that might be a neat little gadget to have just as a gimmick, but it actually sounds functional. So you never know. I might pick one up if I see them on sale like I did with my fridge. But
something interesting in the window for Cheddar back there.
Yeah, they were both in there earlier.
They're just going into that curtain there.
Yeah. But I don't know. For me, the coolest Xbox thing I got is the Starfield, whatever limited edition.
Oh my
thing.
God!
Yeah, like that is pretty cool. Like I must admit, expensive as heck, but the watch is actually pretty nice. Quite functional. And I mean, when you look at the cost of a smartwatch these days, kind of explains the price of the whole thing. And it came with the Ultimate Edition of the game. And a nice steel case that holds in the form of one of those credit keys that you find
Yeah,
laying
yeah, yeah,
around in the
yeah.
game. That's where your key for the game is. It's on one of those, and it's in a nice steel case. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a really nice thing, and then the actual case that it all comes in, it looks just like one of the kits that you find in the game too. So that's pretty cool. That's probably my nicest thing that I've ever got as far as memorabilia stuff goes.
Nice.
But the cheesy side, yeah, definitely the fridge.
Yeah, but you have one, obviously.
I do. I have the
Yeah.
fridge. Yeah,
Didn't they make two versions of the fridge? There's a bigger one and a
they
smaller one.
they did.
Because
I
the
have
one
the
that I
bigger
have
one.
is literally like it's bigger than the Series X, and then I think they made a bit of
Yeah,
a smaller one.
they did. They had like what was it, a 12 can, and I think the other one held like 8 or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I
It
have the
was quite a
12
bit.
can.
Yeah, mine's the larger one of the two. But I mean, it's a neat looking fridge.
Oh,
I
it's
like
really
it. It's
cool.
just mine. The power supply broke. I think I told you that in chat. But yeah,
Hmm.
the power supply broke in it. But I've got one that I can throw in there. I know how to do it. It's not a big deal. I just gotta unsolder a few wires and solder a few new ones in, and it should work again. With the AC power, the DC power still works fine. Although
Hmm.
my fan's starting to be a little bit noisy, so I'm going to look for a replacement fan too, the cooling fan for the Peltier, because
Cool.
if that dies, then it's not going to work anyway. So I'll just
Indeed.
do it all at once.
But like I said, if it gets out, you can always use it as a disc holder. You just put a couple
Yeah.
of your copies in there or something like that. I'm pretty sure that would be kind of neat.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, so how about yourself, Terry? What's one of the coolest Xbox merchandise or video game merchandise? I'm not talking about collector's editions and stuff really, but like just merch. I mean, obviously, I have the same lamp that you have, the Xbox one with the logo and that. I have that one.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I got this one. I also have the
I like
Xbox
the
trophy.
achievement
I
one.
yeah, I got the
That's
trophy
cool.
Cool.
too.
Yeah,
That's
that's
And
cool.
dope. I like that. I
and
want
then
that
uh
one.
and then I got an Xbox glass.
There you go.
Okay.
Good
But
Xbox
There you go.
glass.
I think I don't really buy like tchotchkes too much. I would say when it comes to like game stuff,
Yeah.
probably Tomb Raider. Like they have like some of like the best like statues and stuff that you can get.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would probably go maybe that route, or even Mass Effect has some pretty cool stuff that you can go right to the BioWare's website and they got some pretty nice stuff. I think I actually got like a Mass Effect hoodie that was really cool. But that's probably about
Mm-hmm.
it. Like I don't buy collector's editions for games, but I usually will go directly to like the official store for like BioWare, whoever, and buy stuff from them
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I've got a few other little things that I kind of like to do with Call of Duty. The little like Modern Warfare 2, like it's like a acrylic thing that LED lights light up,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks pretty cool. I like that. I've got a couple of those. I still haven't figured out which box they're in from my move, but I'll find them eventually. A couple of things like that. And I've got some what do they call them? Funko things, Funko Pops or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm-hmm.
few of those type things as well that I like. But I think I bought that limited edition Master Chief one too. That's I think going to ship sometime this year. But yeah, there's some stuff like that I've got. My kids have got them. I've got them like a lot of different Lego Halo sets and stuff and Legos that they like.
Mm-hmm.
They build and leave together. I think that's kind of cool, that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't buy a lot of this stuff either. Like Terry said, I mean, as far as collector's editions and games, that's the first one I've ever bought was the Starfield one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never bought one before. But one thing that I would like to get is one of those Diablo statues. What's the Diablo 4? The Lilith? Is it Lilith?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, that
Lilith.
one looks that main one looks really cool. It's like 2 feet tall, but I just can't stomach the price on it. It's a little pricey for. I think it's like 800 Canadian for the thing, but I'd like to get one. Just don't want to spend that kind of coin on it.
Yeah.
Seems a little
One of the
ridiculous to
coolest
me.
things that I've seen that came out last year that I would love to get my hands on. I'm not even a big fan of, say, building stuff like Lego stuff, but honestly, that Xbox 360 Mega Bloks kit. Oh my God,
Oh,
I would love to have that.
I
Have you
don't know
seen
if
that?
I've seen that.
Oh, you
I don't know
haven't
if
seen
I've
it, dude?
seen that
Look
one.
it up. It's on eBay right now. It sells for about $200, and it's the Xbox 360. See if I can bring up a picture for those who haven't seen it. If it's,
I
it,
saw a video for that for
it's
Christmas. A
yeah.
mom bought that for her kid, thinking it was the actual
Oh my
console.
God.
And the look on his face when he said it was Lego. Well, it's Mega Blocks, but they could call them all Legos. So like when he said it was Lego, he just looked at the immediate look of
Oh my
disappointment.
God. Could you imagine? Oh,
Man,
let me just share it up on the
She's like, I can
screen.
finally afford to
okay.
get him a console. I'm gonna give him this 360. Like, oh no.
Oops.
There you go. So there it is
That's
right
pretty
there.
cool.
That's coming off of eBay, selling for 139. Yeah, it's an actual console. As you can see there, just all made out of Lego blocks or Mega Blocks, even the controller and stuff. That's a really cool little collector's item, man.
Yeah.
Would love to get my hands on something like that. I'm not even I think even the game, I think it's got, well, no, it looks like, is that an actual copy? No, I was going to say an actual copy of Halo 3. That'd be wild. Especially if it
No
worked.
kidding.
Imagine if it was an actual console too and it worked. That'd be so
Wow.
wild. Yeah, but
It
that
didn't
that to
red
me is one of
ring.
the coolest collector's items for sure. So yeah, especially for those of us who are
That's
fans of the
cool.
original. Look even the packaging, man. Like to throw back to the original Xbox 360 packaging. That's wild. Yeah, I'd love to get my hands on that. I don't know if anybody in the community has it or not, but I'd certainly love to see it close up and personal. But that, for me, I've got a bunch of different stuff. I mean, I've got everything from Gears of War. Like I was able to come across the replica Lancer, and I've got stuff like pajamas and socks, and and I noticed over the last couple of years, and it's kind of funny too, because I used to always criticize that Xbox didn't have enough merch out there. I was always finding it easy to find PlayStation stuff, but really having a hard time getting Xbox stuff, and it seems to be coming around now. Like things like I got on my head, like this hat, Xbox hat that I found in store, and
Hmm.
T-shirts and stuff like that. It's fantastic. I love supporting the brand, and I think it's cool. And people, you go out to places and people identify you like, oh, you like Xbox and stuff like that, and it's kind of cool. And you start some conversations, and we got a couple of those heat mugs, Xbox heat mugs. So when you put the coffee in, the graphics appear and disappear as it gets cold and stuff like that's really cool. One of the hardest things to find right now, and I'll just step away and I'll show you. I don't know if people have seen it, but I found this at Costco and I'll show it to you. You guys can keep on talking. I'll be right back.
Like I always
Sure.
found that like when it comes to like Xbox like clothing and stuff, you can actually get them on clearance almost all the time at GameStop. Like
Oh, okay.
because Xbox
Yeah.
isn't as popular, so they're not
Right.
selling them, so they always have them on clearance. Like I am always seeing like shirts and hats for like
Okay.
25% off, or buy one get one half and stuff like that all the time.
I got a couple pair of socks, like Xbox socks there for like $5
Nice.
on clearance. So yeah, I did pick up that, but
All right, let me just get rid
pause
of
for.
my virtual background here so you can actually see this. So this baby right here,
Ooh,
and I found this
nice.
at a Costco a few years ago. I've never seen them since. So this was at Costco. It's basically like a Nerf gun. I forget the name of it. It's a different one. It's called Boom. So UNSC.
Cool.
Right. It's got the little thing on with the bullets, but it's got the cartridge in the side. So you pop it in, and then you just pump the gun like that. I'm pretty used to doing that, right? And yeah, and it shoots like friggin' really fast. All these darts just come flying out. It's crazy. So everybody that comes into my house sees this and go, "Oh my God, where'd you get that thing? That's awesome!" I'm like, "Yeah, I found it at a Costco a few years ago for about it was like $30 or something." I was like, "Damn, I'm gonna buy that." But it's
Hmm.
really cool. I love it, and it's like I said, it's one of those things that's hard to find. So yeah,
Yeah. Right on.
so that's one of the coolest merchandisey things. That yeah, it's actually not a Nerf. It's a competing brand of Nerf. But it's cool. Like it's weighty and it works really cool, and it's just a cool collector's item. It'd be wild if it was black instead of a red, but Yeah, but it's a neat little gun. So yeah, cool stuff. Yeah. But anyway, don't say it because I want to say it. One pump jump. Never mind. So you go. How about in the chat? What's one of the coolest pieces of merchandise that you have, whether it's a Nintendo merch or Sony merch or Xbox merch, like something that you found at a store that isn't that easy to get, or it's just damn cool, right? I mean, some of the stuff is not easy to find. Like if you don't buy it when you first get the chance, it might never be there again. And that's the same as I just said with that gun. I found it that 1 year at Costco, and I've never seen it back in any store since. So I'm guessing they didn't make a large run of those things. So Talos Ray is the Gears chainsaw and retro, no shotgun. Very nice, man. That stuff's cool. I know you can go into the stores too now. You can get like the replica needler, and you can get the replica energy sword and all that sort of stuff, which is really really cool. I've got the replica Master Chief helmet, like I said, that I found at an EB Games like a couple of months ago, which was really cool. I couldn't pass that up, so that was a lot of fun to buy. But yeah, no, I love my Xbox merch, and I think the toaster is cool. From what I've seen, it definitely looks like it's more useful and effective than the fridge. So kudos to them. I don't know if it's made sort of in the same company or licensed from the same company, but it definitely looks like it actually works. So that's a good thing. So if you're a toast aficionado, no, nothing cooler than having Xbox toast for breakfast, right?
At least you should hopefully get at least 2 slices out of it before it burns out, right?
Yeah, we hope.
I was
Imagine.
thinking similar. Like I'm like, how long will it last?
This thing's got the red rings of death already. It's a toaster.
What's going on?
That would be funny if they actually did, like they had like three, like a little thing that looked like the Xbox logo, and they do that on just to fuck with you. Red rings, oh, it's gonna blow up. Yeah, it does bagels, it does toast. Yeah, it does everything. It's an official effective toaster, but it looks pretty cool. I wouldn't mind getting one. I don't know how much they are, but apparently, according to Sir X-Men, now scalpers are buying those damn things up. Like, what kind of world are we in now when they're buying up the fucking toasters? Come on.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right? Unbelievable. Jeez. I think isn't that toaster, isn't it? Is that a Walmart exclusive? I think it's exclusive to one of the retailers. Wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I got my fridge from Walmart, excuse me, on one of their blowout sales or whatever they call them, their red tag sale or whatever the heck it is. Yeah. But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Walmart again.
Mm-hmm.
Would make sense to me.
Yeah. All right, moving on from the merch and the last topic before we bring in Handy Andy and company. Well, obviously, it was just announced that there's going to be an Xbox Developer Direct coming up here on the 18th of January. So not too far away. I think that's like next Thursday, if I'm correct, something like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one. I know we're going to see some more from Hellblade 2, but most importantly, we're going to see what Machine Games has up with Indiana Jones. It's been a long time since we've seen anything sort of official. That leaves a little bit of speculation whether this game is going to come out in 2024. I personally don't think it will. I think it's still the 2025 release, but that's the case where I hope I'm wrong, right? I hope that I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be 2025. What are your hopes for the Indiana Jones game, Coolcat Terri or Mental 9R? What would you like to see from the game, and what is it going to take for it to be successful? Coming from Machine Games, who's got great pedigree, by the way. But then again, has Machine Games really... They haven't really dabbled into the third person, though. They've kind of been doing first person stuff. So this is where I know these guys know how to do graphics, right? But how is this going to pan out? I wonder. And what are you hoping for? I mean, the last movie that came out wasn't that great. So what are we hoping for the game? Do we even know if Harrison Ford is doing the voice in this one, or are they using a voice actor? I wonder.
I have no idea.
We don't know that either.
Actually. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what am I looking for? Good story, decent campaign mode. Like, I don't know if they're gonna have multiplayer or not. I don't really care too much, but and fluid gameplay. Like, there's got to be some decent, combat mechanics and a really good story. And what more do you really need? I think graphically, you're right. Like, if you look at Wolfenstein 2, the game looked fantastic. Still looks fantastic today. It holds up well. And so I have no concerns. I think graphically, I think it'll probably be a stunner. But yeah, it just comes down to gameplay mechanics and what they put together for a story. And I think, gameplay wise, Wolfenstein plays great, the gun plays great, but what are they going to do with the whip and things like that, right? It's going to be a little bit different. So, do we know if it's third person or first person? I think it's third person, right?
Third person,
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Wasn't, what was that one, Wolfenstein Youngblood? Did that not have a third person mode? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it didn't.
I don't think it did.
No, that was
that
first.
was also, okay, and that was also Arcane was involved in that, I think, that game. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for. I want to play a good storied game that has decent gameplay mechanics, and I'm, like I say, curious to see how you utilize the whip. If you'll be using it to maybe snatch guns out of the enemy's hand or something like that, that could be cool. Swinging around on it is most likely going to be something they do, taking you from one area to another or whatever, but should be interesting.
Nice. I mean, personally, like I said, I think it's a missed opportunity if they don't get Harrison Ford to voice it. It wouldn't be the be all end all. But I think that's the first key: is you got to get the iconic voice behind the game. And I find sometimes the chintzy imitators just don't get the job done. And so let's hope they pony up some dough to get Harrison Ford to lend his iconic, not only his likeness but the voice. With saying that though, I can understand if they did, if they were potentially doing a sequel down the road to get some of that, at least sounds and looks somewhat like him, just because, Harrison Ford's getting up in years and he might not be around to do any more sequels at this point. But it's not like I wouldn't buy the game regardless, but I just always find it, especially when they're still available or they're around. Just like when Mortal Kombat, for whatever reason, didn't get Arnold to voice his character, but they got Stallone to do his. Now there could have been various reasons why that happened, but if it was a timing thing, then I would have just said, well, leave out the character until you have the time to do the voice, right? Because the imitation actor they got for Arnold was terrible. Whether you love my Arnold, well, whether you love my Arnold or you hate my Arnold, I definitely did a better job than that guy did.
I know you're
so.
Is this the first voice acted Indiana Jones game? Because I'm trying to think of all the ones in the past, and none of them had voice acting. They were all like text.
The last one was on the Xbox, wasn't the Emperor's Tomb or whatever it was? And I don't remember if that had the voice or not. And to be honest, I have it downloaded. It's on my Xbox, but I think it did. I'm pretty sure it had voice. The Lego games obviously don't. But
that one didn't have voice. And I know the really, really old ones didn't have voice. I didn't play any of the movie adaptation ones.
So could this game potentially be, if it comes out, it's good and it's successful, is this essentially Microsoft's shot at Uncharted and Tomb Raider? With the original sort of adventure man? The guy who inspired Uncharted and inspired Tomb Raider, essentially?
Isn't the original adventure man from Pitfall? Just putting that out there.
Well, didn't Pitfall sort of come
Pitfall with he had the whip and he was running. Yeah. I think he inspired Indy, to be honest.
Actually, I think the original Indiana Jones movie came out before Pitfall, if I'm correct.
Yeah, when was Pitfall? Would have been what, early 80s?
Yeah, because the original Indiana Jones movie was 1978, wasn't 77, 78?
77, 78.
Pitfall was 82.
So it was after Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because the first Indiana Jones came out before the 80s. It was late 70s. It was just after Star Wars, I think.
Dang.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And then I think it was 84 for Temple of Doom, and it was 88, I think, or in 1990, I think, for that third one, The Last Crusade. And then there was a long gap after that before they made Indiana Jones 4, which kind of flopped. And then, of course, the new one, which didn't do very well. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
I think you're not far off the mark anyway. I mean, it's right in that same genre. So, very similar type of storylines and stuff. Yeah. Could be a chance to do something like that, assuming they can license it long term. I feel
Indiana Jones, I think, is probably more on par with Uncharted, because Uncharted has always been more action based, whereas Tomb Raider's been more exploration.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the Arnold love in the chat. Everybody's saying that I could do a great job with the voice acting, and I wish, man, it would be a dream come true if I got a call up from some studio someday and say, "Hey, man, we need you to do Arnold Schwarzenegger imitation voice acting." That'd be honest. Of course, with Arnold's blessing, that would be fantastic. But yeah, that'd be great.
Hmm.
I saw this one on the street there. I saw a video. This was like last year of. It was actual Arnold. He was going around dressed up as the Terminator, and he was actually walking along the streets, and he ran across like a Terminator imitator, and it was bad because Buddy just one didn't look the part, and that's fine because most people are not going to look the part. But he was trying to do
Yeah.
Arnold's voice, and it was so terrible. He's like, "I am the Terminator," and Arnold's just like, "No, I am the Terminator." And it was just, it was just awesome, right? Because Buddy's trying to do a fucking imitation, and his voice is just awful. So yeah, it's great. So.
Yeah, I won't even try because it's not going to happen.
Well, people, the one thing all my friends have said, they said the one difference between your Arnold and a lot of people's Arnold is that when other people do Arnold, they can only do the taglines. So they might get the
Hmm.
tagline down, but they practice one sentence over and over and over and over again, and they kind of get it almost to a T. But I'm doing voices, like I'm actually doing
Yeah.
conversation as Arnold. That is much tougher to do,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, not to toot my own horn, but yes, I do think my Arnold's not bad. So. All right. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the developer direct. I can't wait to do a podcast on you try imitating RoboCop noob. I need one of those machines to put up to my mouth to do that weird echo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Voice box or whatever they call it.
yeah. What else are you hoping for from the developers direct? Obviously, they have Hellblade in there as well. So you think we're going to see a bit of a deep dive on what we kind of saw at the Game Awards?
Might do like a follow up. That would be cool if they did a follow up like they did with Starfield, right? Where they
Yeah.
had the 45-minute Starfield thing. If they did something like that on Hellblade, that'd be really cool. I'd be totally down for that. That's probably my most anticipated game this year is Hellblade 2. Really looking forward to that game.
Hmm.
So I'd love to see something like that. But
I can't wait. From what
they
I've
haven't
seen,
said.
just that bit of action that we saw
Oh,
from the show, I was like, man, it looks amazing.
it does. It
Hmm.
does. They haven't said what they're going to do yet. I mean, I haven't followed the news here the last little bit, obviously, but have they said anything about what's going to be shown, or is it just all speculation?
Hmm. Indeed. How
Anyway,
about you, Terry? Anything you'd like to see in particular from the few studios that are going to be there?
Mm,
Where is your interest on Indiana Jones anyway? Like, is that a game that you would think you'd like to play? Is it just you don't seem overly excited? You're just kind of like, eh.
I'm not an Indiana Jones fan. Like I mean, I've seen a couple of the movies. I've never been able to watch one start to finish. I get bored. So, uh, I'm just not an Indiana Jones fan. But so I mean, I'm interested in checking the game out, but it's not on my list of anything that I'm like in a hurry to get. So if it ends up on Game Pass, great, I'll play it. If not, then it'll be a bargain bin for me for sure. So
Okay,
like,
fair
I'm
enough.
really, I'm not expecting it to be that amazing, honestly. It's and I don't know. I hope it does well, but then again, Indiana Jones. I feel like it's not going to have the best audience either for gaming.
Mm.
You know.
So does
Uh,
machine games
no.
worry you more that they're doing a third-person action adventure, or does it worry you more that the Playground Games is notorious for driving games is taking a crack at Fable?
oh my gosh. So like, first off, I don't like putting studios in a box. I
Right.
feel like they should be able to, show what they can do. And so I want to see Machine Games what they can do with this because
Right.
they're the first person shooter guys, So I want to see what they can do. Whereas Playground Games, I don't know because like I don't like what I'm seeing for Fable, but I mean graphically it looks great. It's just story wise, from what I can get out of what I think it's going to be about, I have zero interest now. So
Right.
I don't even know what Fable, but who knows? Maybe they'll convince me when I get to actually play it.
Right.
But I don't know. So I mean I'm hopeful for. I don't even know. Like I don't even know if I'm hopeful at this point. I'm just praying that it's good.
Terry's worried that Fable has turned into Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, like which has nothing to do with what the original Fable games were about.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
it's
I
not
think the
supposed
one thing at least with Playground, we know they can build an open world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So that part,
We know they can
there's
do
no
graphics.
concerns. It's yeah, graphically, there's no concerns. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm honestly, I've tried to play the original original Fable, many times. I've never got far in it. Just never really grabbed me. But maybe it's one of those games I need to give another try.
Oh, bro, you
It's
I
should.
think
probably been
The
I think
original
a long
game is so
time.
good.
I think the biggest struggle they're going to have is story writing because they don't have to write a story in a racing game. So,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and
so we have to see how good if they got some good writers because
yeah,
that's going to show real quick.
the
Mhm.
tiny bit of story that is there is not
Mm-hmm.
much. It's not really a story of any kind. So
Mhm.
that's a fair point too. But I would hope that given the number of studios that Xbox has, they would be able to draw on resources from other areas to be able to assist
Yeah.
on things like that. And I'm sure they hired talent to assist with the writing. I would hope so anyway. Yeah, Fable.
Gotcha.
The whole game's about going from one place and doing a battle. Then you have to go to another place. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Anyway,
Well, we're going to find
we
out a
shall
little
see.
bit more, at least about those games. Hellblade, obviously, Indiana Jones, and there was a couple more as well that we're going to see during the developer direct. So that again is on the 18th. So we're looking forward to you coming back. And
Just
does that mean our next show would cover that? Because our next show is going to be before then.
It'd be the
just
day
just
before,
Yeah.
just
or two
remember
days
it's
before,
a
2 days before.
developer direct. It's
Right.
going to be techy and long-winded. Don't go in there expecting it to be like Summer Game Fest or anything like that. It's not.
Exactly.
You're not going to get that experience of them doing like world premieres. It's going to be more like, okay,
World
here's the
premiere.
mechanics and how we design this puzzle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get a little bit more of a deep dive and a better look at a game. Certainly, Indiana. We've seen a little bit of Hellblade 2 now, but the Indiana Jones has been relatively tight-lipped, so that'll be exciting for a lot of us, anyway. So, Sir X-Man comes in with another super chat tonight. He drops $2, and take it away, Mental.
You should try imitating RoboCop, Noof.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that one. I could try. I have to practice it a little bit, but you kind of need that. What do you call the voice synthesizer to kind of give you that
Yeah.
sound, that sort of thing. So, otherwise, it's just like yeah. Well, what's one of his dead or alive? Dead or I don't know how is it?
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Dead or
That's
alive? You're coming with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
So
that weird monotone almost.
yeah, the game is so good though. Peter Weller reprising that role, and just the graphics on RoboCop himself in that game are they're so spot on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But everything else, but it's still a great game. If you haven't played RoboCop, guys, yet, it's definitely a throwback to sort of the old school shooters, which is cool because it's an old school movie, right? So I don't know if some of the game designs were also on purpose, but it is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. It's been a pretty good game, and it's definitely ramping up the challenge factor as I get a little bit further along. But yeah, definitely try out RoboCop if you get a chance to pick it up at least on sale. So they
Yeah.
did a
I
great job
grabbed
with that.
it on sale for on Steam.
Yeah, and those same guys did a good job with Terminator Resistance too, which I played before that. My only gripes with Terminator Resistance was they spent the entire game in the future, and it would have been kind of cool if they did sort of the future past jumping, and they had Arnold actually reprise his role in the game to some degree, but he did not. He was not in the game at all, so that was kind of
Mm.
disappointing. But it was very well done as well. So. Yeah. Yeah, it was on sale. Actually, I think it was. I think it might still be on sale right now. It was on sale just recently. I think like 30% off or something like that. But I ended up buying the physical version, which was not on sale. So
Yeah, I found myself gravitating a little bit more towards the physical copies lately for some reason, especially on the PlayStation ones that I've picked up.
mhm.
I've got physical copies for those. Mainly, it's been, I think, better pricing, but I don't know. I don't want to see physical go away, so I'm picking some up here and there too, just because options are always nice, and all the talk of physical media going away concerns me too. So
There you go. Terry Seamus was just asking. He just picked up the Avatar game. Has anyone played it? And I said, "Did you have it? It's your game of the year."
Oh yes, I loved it. It's so pretty. It has co-op too, so if you have a friend, so play with. I recommend doing it in co-op. It's a good time. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely the prettiest game. It's so good.
The jungles are
So
pretty good in that game.
the
Yeah.
story is really good too. It's very well written. You know, good
Mhm.
story.
Cool.
Nice. And it comes from one of her favorite studios, Ubisoft.
Ubi.
RoboCop is hard to find on disc. Yeah, it is. That's why I ordered mine online through Amazon. Showed up. So, all right. So there we go. Let's get ready to close the show. But obviously, I've got to bring in a special guest here. So just be a second, and we're going to bring him in because it's been a couple of weeks now, and he wants to come in since it's a new year. So let's bring him in. Where you at, Handy Andy? All right. I got to get off screen here, Andy. Andy's going to do his thing.
All right. Chat, line your questions up for
Get those
Handy Andy.
questions ready, Chad. Hey, everybody, it's Handy Andy. Hi, Terry. Hi, Mental Diner. Happy New Year. Oh, my God, we're
Hey,
9 days in.
Handy.
It's the first time I've showed my mug on camera. Oh, my God. It's all I can say is I've had a pretty good 2023. Was pretty good. I mean, I finally got, I ended up on a podcast in 2023. I mean, how cool is that with you guys? And nobody's come to my house and tried to kill me yet, and I haven't been gang raped by any girls yet. And all that cool stuff. So, yeah, I'm doing really good. I've been having fun, but I'm really excited for 2024. There's going to be lots of amazing games, and I can't wait to see about Indiana Jones. He makes me want to swing through my own jungles. Yeah, you guys got any questions? Come on, send them to me. It's that new year, new beer. Let's go.
Did you have a good holiday, Andy?
I did have a good holiday. Finally, I mean, Noof Nukem removed his hand from my ass. That was pretty good. So I had a couple of
It's a
weeks
good
without my hand
start.
on my ass. That's always a pretty good start. I didn't
Yeah.
get a haircut, though. I'm a little bit overdue because that shit's going to get in my face. But yeah. And I
Did you
didn't
play
get my
any games?
teeth either. Sorry, guys. My teeth are still yellow. Nobody bought me a new
Yeah.
shirt for Christmas either, you cheap bastards. Been wearing this one for so long now, it's starting to smell like BO.
Oh no. Is it the only shirt you have, Andy?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I'm cheap bastard. Who needs shirts when you spend like 90% of your day naked?
Well,
Right?
that's a fair point, I guess. Never
Absolutely.
thought of it that way.
Yeah, you know what they say about us puppets? We pack a big stick.
Have you played any new games lately, Andy?
Gee, that's a great question. I really haven't been playing a whole lot of games lately, but I've been kind of on the Nintendo Switch a little bit, and I've been playing stuff like Tetris 99. You know, because I like puzzle games, and I like to get my ass kicked all the time. It's fun. Pinball games are really good too. I like to play big shiny balls.
There you go. Well, Seamus Kelly wants to know, Handy Andy, can you grow facial hair?
Yeah, I got more facial hair than you probably got pubes. You just can't see it if you got to look really closely. But yeah, it's there. I just keep myself well groomed, because you never know when the ladies are gonna want to come up and get nice and handy with you. You know what I mean?
Ah, yes. Keeping it smooth.
Ladies like a smooth, right, Terry? You like smooth faces or you like hairy faces? Is your husband, has he got a hairy face or is he a smooth baby face?
He's got the whole facial hair thing going on right now. I hate it. But
he's a babushka, so you've got to try to kiss him through that blanket of hair.
I hate it. I despise it. But yeah, but I let him do what he wants.
That's it, eh? Well, at least when he's going down below, you never know.
He looks better. I mean, he looks better with facial hair than he's got a baby face. So he doesn't. He looks too young without it. So it's like, so he does look better with it.
Well, let me just tell you this much. I haven't shaved my pubes in a while. I kind of look just like my hair, right there. Like, see? Shaved, not shaved. Shaved, not shaved. All right. Hey, what's going on? It's Crispy Bob, baby. Crispy. What's going on, Crispy? Good to see you, man. Yeah. Anybody else got a... Hey, game complainers. Fucker. What's going on? Anybody else got some questions?
Anyone questions for Handy Andy.
Sir X-Men wants to
There's got to be one or two out there.
You bald bastard. Yeah, let's go. All right. I think that's it.
Anyone.
Right. Okay.
I think it's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap. I'm done for today because I'm really tired right now. I gotta go, take my cold and flu medications and all that stuff. Probably like a big old box of Sudafed. That sort of shit. And I gotta, it's getting close to my bedtime. So yeah.
Sir X-Men says he had a question, but I haven't seen the question, so he could be typing.
What? Come on.
A few seconds.
What? Come on, Sir X-Men, for fuck's sakes, man. You type about as small as a fucking, some of these new kids these days. Come on.
All right. Oh, nope. Still not coming. All right.
No, that's what she said.
You better get to bed. Oh, wait, there it is. Handy. So I see you finally got from under Lizzo's dress.
Oh, Lizzo. Oh, baby, I tell you, that's a whole lot of woman right there. I had a good time with her. Oh, let me tell you. It smelled like when I was upstairs, it smelled like French fries and gravy in there, baby. Fish and chips. Anyway, guys, have yourself a great 2024. I'll be back soon. See ya.
All right.
Andy.
There we go, everybody. Handy. Whew. Just reading the questions. We missed you. Probably did. But all right, if you got my balls went in the mask, Noof, with this voice. Oh shit. All right. You missed his questions. I guess Splendiferous had some, but all right. Well, let Splendiferous. He can ask a question for either Safe House or Cletus. Anybody Safe House or Cletus question real quick?
Anyone?
Apparently not. All right, guys. Well, anyway, we come to the end of another show. We'll have the other guys back another week. So, if you missed a question, that's all right. We'll get it on the next time around, and for sure. But it's been another great show. As always, episode 27 in the books. He says, give me a sec. He's at work. Okay, well, we'll give you one more sec. We don't need to go just yet. We got another minute or so we can spare. We're gonna hopefully come in under the 2 hour mark. That's good. Cletus, what's your most anticipated game of 2024?
Well, Cletus, yeah. First of all, it's a great question, Seamus Killer. There's a lot of games this year that I wouldn't mind playing, let me tell you. But first of all, I'm very disappointed that they haven't made another awesome game to that fishing game that I had that one year. What the hell was it called? Fishing with Dynamite? I'm surprised they haven't made a sequel to that game yet. That was fantastic. I like that game. Reminded me of my actual own fishing Texas when I was just a little kid. That was fantastic. But they haven't made a sequel to that. But as far as this year, I don't know, man. It's hard to say what I'm really excited for. But I'm glad there's no more God of Wars because I'm fucking tired of that bald bastard going around with that little kid. That shit's getting tired. And I'm tired of Spider-Man fucking swinging around his red tights. I want to play something a little more mature, a little more ballsy, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need some more mature superheroes. I really want to see Conquer come back. And that's one motherfucker that I like because he was drinking beer, fucking throwing toilet paper at shit blobs, and all that good stuff. And watching bees making out, that's what I'm talking about there. Yeah, I wish another Conquer, but somebody needs to get on top of that. That's what I'm saying. I'll get on top of that like I'm about to get on top of my old lady. You know what? My old lady, she's so fat when I gets on top and I roll over in the night, I'm still in the middle.
So, Crispy Bomb, Cletus, how does Aaron Rodgers take care of business?
Aaron Rodgers takes care of business by ratting everybody out. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers knows things about what you call a Siegfried Otto. What the fuck his name is. He knows all sorts of shit. I think that guy, he works for the CIA. That's what he does. He throws football and works for the CIA and just rats everybody out. That's what he's going to go on there.
And then Splendiferous is asking, Cletus, how... Oh, well, that just got deleted, so I can't read that. Sir X-Men deleted it.
This one?
Yeah, there you go. How the hell can you survive in a house with Sir X-Men, Andy, and Safe House?
Well, you don't survive in a house with either three of them. The first thing you got to do is you got to get out of that house. You don't want to be in there, first of all, with Handy Andy, because anybody that's had a hand up his ass that long, it's got to be a little bit stuck up. You know what I'm saying? And then in the safe house, I can't tolerate the guy because he just is swearing all the time and he talks like he just ate a box of cigars. And then, of course, fucking Sir X Man. Well, Sir X Man's like a decapitated, decrepit, fucking bald bastard. I got no time for that Sir X Man, but he's a cool guy. He comes in and he throws down his super chats. I mean, he alone is going to keep Noof Nukem channel alive more than anybody else. But no, I wouldn't want to live with either one of them three because if 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 uh, if you're not down with my sister, you ain't down with nobody. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. So Jesse Darby had a question for Handy Andy, but I think he's gone now. But he's wondering where the pencils were. But yeah, I don't see any others. I don't think I missed any.
I'm just off in the background. I'm just off in the background, but I just wanted to say that my pencils are in my pencil case. Maybe sometime I'll show you my pencil collection. I bet you like to see my long, sharp one. It's blue. Yeah. Another time, guys. I'll be back soon. Don't worry.
Oh, thanks, Handy.
All right, there we go.
All right.
Anyway, guys, fantastic questions, fantastic night, awesome chat as always, fantastic panel, and another great show in the books, episode 27. Let everybody know. Hey, Arnold, who would you please want for president? Okay, so we got a question for Arnold. We'll have to take one more, I suppose.
All right.
I wasn't planning to come on here and do anything tonight because I know I'm very tired, but I'm going to answer this one question. First of all, the only president that should be would have been me. You know, I ran for governor. I got there. I was the governor of California, and everything was going very well underneath my watch. And now I don't know. Between you got Rumpus Trump, and then you got decrepit Biden. I don't know. Neither one of those guys are fit for shit. I don't want to vote for either one of them. So honestly, and yeah, I don't want to vote for either one. I should be the president, but it can't happen anymore. So just do your best. Make sure that you do an educated vote and you vote for someone that speaks for you, and that sort of thing. That's all I can tell you, man. I don't want to vote for any one of them because they're all crazy.
I don't think you're wrong, Arnold. I don't think you're wrong.
All right. Great show. Good to see everybody here. Support. As always, you are fantastic. And hopefully we'll see you guys again next week. And as well, like I said, share this out and tell your friends and all that sort of stuff. The super chats are greatly appreciated, whether you're not expected, but I do appreciate all the support. And as you know, a lot of that support goes back into buying some giveaways and different things for the for viewers of the channel. So, but anyway, let's get out of here. Let's start with Mental 9R. Tell us about Caffeine Entertainment and where they can catch up with you next. And again, thanks for being on the show tonight. I know you're still under the weather. We can definitely tell, but you pulled through. We're glad to have you back, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Thank you, sir. Happy to be back. Yeah, I'm definitely not feeling 100%, that's for sure. But I'm glad I jumped on and was able to contribute a bit at least, and had a good time nonetheless. And yeah, Caffeine Entertainment on YouTube, Mental 9R on Twitter or X, and pretty much everywhere, Xbox, PlayStation, you name it. Mental 9R is where you'll find me.
Coolcat Terri, obviously you're in a few more places, but let people know what's going down next and where they can catch up with you.
All right, yeah, you can continue to catch me over on Good Morning Xbox. That's Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Iconic Video Games channel. Axel's the host of that show. He does a great job. So you can go ahead and check me out there. Otherwise, I also stream on Twitch. Coolcat Terri, like you see here. It's Ubisoft only over there. So if you can't handle it, don't even try. It's gonna be Ubisoft. So the good times over there. And then I also have my automotive YouTube channel, Coolcat's Alley, where I'm working on my project car and doing all that good stuff. So if you like car stuff or just like watching people fix cars, or if you want to learn about fixing cars, even if you don't have the car, I mean, a lot of this stuff works for pretty much anything. So go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, you need to have this little dungeon and call it the cat cave. Just come down a pole. Just slide down on the pole when you get to your cars. Like, yeah, cat cave. Thanks, Timothy Dixon. You're one of the best, man. Doggy Dog as well. Splendiferous guys. You're awesome. RWK88. Good to see you in the chat, man. The King was here earlier. Like I said, we saw Joe Dunmore in the building tonight. Good to see Talos Ray has been here hanging out. Raven Arrow's been here. So many of the usuals. You guys are fantastic, Kent. Sir X Man, all night long, guys. You're fantastic. Thanks again. Like you guys know where to find me pretty much just here, unless somebody sends me an invite to their podcast, which honestly it's kind of weird. I must have pissed in somebody's cereal in the last year because I used to get lots of invites to podcasts, and now I virtually get none. It's not a big fucking deal. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it, but I'm just saying it's just kind of weird. Like all of a sudden, I used to get all the time, and now like hardly ever. The only person that invites me to their podcast is usually Mooch, and the only reason I don't show up in his podcast is because it's always on a fucking day and time when I'm at work. But outside of that, guys, you know where to find me. It's right here each and every Tuesday night with these amazing people, Coolcat Terri, Mental 9R, the Gaming Fuse podcast. We hope that you're enjoying the podcast so far as we're 27 episodes in. Let us know what you'd like for us to see, what you'd like us to improve, all that sort of stuff. And just last note, if you missed my impromptu podcast on Sunday, the community game night is coming back. We're going to be starting that the first Sunday of February. So that's February the 4th, I think it is, at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. Mountain and 6 p.m. Central Time. So get those times and dates right. It's going to be each and every Sunday. We're gonna narrow things down to a select few games. So we may rotate a game here and there depending on its popularity. But the key to making community game night successful is simply going to be you. I can't make them successful with 3 and 4 people. You want to have consistency. You want to get numbers. You want to get it to be the place to be. That doesn't mean you're going to have to show up each and every week. But if you are genuinely interested in community game nights and you want to hang out with people from the community, including the podcast people or us on this panel, please do your service once in a while and try to show up. You're not going to like every game, but I also encourage you to try some games perhaps you're not that great at or you don't necessarily like, but you're doing it for the sake of hanging out with your friends and your podcast community and just having a good time. We don't take it seriously. It's going to be a very laid back environment for all skill levels. And, it's going to be a zero tolerance for bullshit. And the language and innuendo and all that stuff. It's going to be a place for whether you're, 13 or you're, 53 to come out and play. We want it to be fun, inviting atmosphere, away from the cheaters and the scammers and the bullshit that normally comes with playing online. And that's great. It's all private matches, 9 times out of 10, unless we have a small crew. Sometimes we might just say it's 4 people. We'll take that 4 group, maybe go in and play a shooter or a racing game or whatever it might be. But we're going to have some great games. The first game that's going to be on February the 4th, I will tell you, it's going to be Titanfall 2. It was one of the community favorites. Everybody loved it, at least the people that I played it with. So make sure you have that one downloaded and ready to go. That's where we're going to get a set list of games so that people know what they are and you can have them ready to roll so you're not always going, oh, well, I can't play that game because I deleted it from my hard drive. You're going to know what the community game night games are, and we're going to have select weeks for each of them. So, the Fall Guys game, I think you can set up a private match in that as well, I think. I've got to go through a few of them, make sure that they work well for community game nights. But outside of that, it's going to be a good time. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing a great turnout. And I'm also going to be looking for a co-host. What the co-host is going to mean is that on the weeks when I can't host, I need someone else to take up the mantle so we can keep it rolling and not miss a week or two. Because I'm not going to be able to host every single Sunday. Things are going to get in the way. That's life, right? But I'm hoping to get someone who can just say, well, and if you're not there, I'm going to carry it on. But in the meantime, that is it for that. If you want more details on Community Game Night, please go over and check out my video that I posted on this channel just last week. So that's about it. We're going to get out of here, guys and gals. Have yourself a fantastic night, and we will see you
Good night,
again
everyone.
next Tuesday.
Right on. Cheers.
Cheers.